I cleared out your stuff because it was cluttering everything, I snapped. As I suspected, Caroline was behind it all. My belongings, from clothes to cosmetics, had vanished. Fortunately, I had taken my computer with me, keeping it safe. But this was really pushing my limits. Robert stood smirking next to Caroline, clearly complicit in her actions. Why the blank stare? If you need something, go fish it out of the trash. And maybe it's time for you to find another place to stay. You're just in the way, old lady. I've tolerated it because she's his daughter from another marriage, and I've never questioned Robert's parenting decisions. But her disrespect has been ongoing, and after a year of being ignored, she decides to throw out everything of mine. Anyone would be furious after all of this. They have no idea what's coming when I'm angry. How pitiful they are. Well, I've made up my mind. I'm filing for divorce. Who knows if Caroline will even make it to college, and Robert, with all his hobbies, will soon find himself stretched thin financially. And first and foremost, he won't have a home to return to. It'll be quite the spectacle. Oh, I get it now. I'm the problem. Fine. I hope you both regret this. Don't come running back to me later. No matter how much you plead or rage, it won't concern me anymore. Let the regret sink in. I'm Macy Rivers, 38 years old, a homeowner. I don't like prying into my work life, so I say I've renovated my parents' house and live there. Originally from an investment background, I've shifted into high-risk, high-reward stocks, steadily growing my assets. My father taught me the ins and outs of stock investing from a young age, making me largely self-taught but well-versed in the field. My path crossed with Robert's when he joined the gym I had been attending for years. We both happened to wear sportswear from the same brand, sparking our first conversation. Over time, our chats grew more frequent, and we began hanging out. Robert had a wide range of hobbies: gym, golf, cars, fishing, and his deep knowledge kept our conversations engaging. When he finally asked me out, our conversation went like this: Nancy, since the first time I saw you, I couldn't stop thinking about you. I want us to date with the intention of marriage. Yes, I would love that. I'm so glad. I felt the same way. There's something I need to tell you. What is it? Well, I'm divorced. My ex-wife didn't understand my hobbies and that caused issues. We have a daughter together, and she's been living with my parents. I was worried if I told you this, you might not want to be with me. Are you okay with all of this? If I'm going to be her stepmother, I should build a good relationship with her, right? Nancy, does that mean? It's all right. Whatever happened in the past, my feelings for you won't change. That marked the beginning of a relationship. At the time, Robert's daughter Caroline was in 6th grade, and I found her to be a sweet and friendly child. Whenever we met, she greeted me with a bright smile and seemed genuinely happy. Nancy, it's so good to see you today. I love shopping for clothes with you. Oh, Caroline, you're absolutely adorable. I feel like spoiling you. Look at you two, having so much fun. Can I join in too? Dad's just feeling a bit jealous. Robert does get jealous easily, doesn't he? I felt a strong bond forming with Caroline. I often bought her clothes that suited her style and brought cake whenever I visited, which she always enjoyed. One evening during dinner, Caroline quietly remarked, "It would be wonderful if Nancy could be with us every day." That statement led Robert to propose to me about 2 years after we started dating, when Caroline entered 9th grade. Given that I lived in a single-family home, they both moved in with me. At that time, I hadn't disclosed my income source to Robert, only mentioning that I worked remotely. I once shared detailed financial information with an ex-boyfriend who started taking advantage of me, making it difficult to end the relationship. My plan was to inform Robert after we got married, but time flew by and I completely forgot. About a year and a half into living together, with Caroline approaching the end of her freshman year in high school, I began noticing a shift. Both Caroline and Robert's attitudes towards me had noticeably changed. Robert's take-home pay was around $2,700, and he used to contribute about $1,000 towards household expenses, given that we lived in my own home. However, lately he only pitched in $200, spending the rest on himself and Caroline. When they ran out of money, they would come to me asking for more. It seemed they were spending extravagantly on their hobbies. One day, I decided to confront the issue. "Hey, Robert, can we talk?" "Now, I'm in the middle of a game. Make it quick." Caroline's spending seems excessive, buying designer items and expensive things, considering she's just a high school freshman. How much allowance are you giving her? And Robert, while hobbies are fine, Aren't you spending excessively? Aren't you also making in-app purchases? Why not sell things you don't use? How much did I give Carolyn again? Around $1,000, right? I want to give her everything she wants. She says there are many places she wants to go. Caroline's my only precious daughter, so why not? And don't interfere with my hobbies. Even if you did, I wouldn't listen. I work hard every day to support you all. You know. What? Are you saying I can't even have hobbies? Wait, what? You gave her $1,000. What were you thinking? Hold on, you're giving her $1,000 a month, and she's still asking me for an allowance. In that case, I need to talk to Carolyn too. But first, let's address your excessive spending. Okay. It's not about quitting your hobbies, it's about spending within reason. Do you realize how much money you're putting into the household? It's just $200. How are we supposed to get by? Hey, don't be too hard on Caroline, okay? She's just a kid. And so what if I spend a lot? It's my hard-earned money. I've always been the type to go all in on things I enjoy. I'm contributing $200. Shouldn't that be enough? Your house is already paid off, so we don't have mortgage expenses. Plus, you're working too, right? We've managed fine up until now, so let's not make a big deal out of this. Yes, it's your money, but there should be limits, right? Just because the house is paid off doesn't mean we don't have other expenses like taxes and utilities. $200 barely covers our bills. I work too, but the point is your spending is excessive. At my parents' place, $200 was sufficient. If there's a shortfall, why don't you cover it? You mean at your parents' place, right? They're both still working, aren't they? And their home is a different size than ours. We have higher expenses because of that. Are you implying my parents' house is small? That's it, I've had enough of this. Just leave me alone. I'm done listening. You're so frustrating, Nancy. No, Robert, that's not what I meant. You're the one who brought up the money issue. As I tried to continue, Robert put on his headphones and started playing the game, ignoring me. I needed to discuss something important with Caroline, but she was out enjoying herself, and I couldn't find the right moment to talk. Shortly after Caroline started her junior year of high school, we were all home one rainy day, so I suggested we have a family meeting. Despite their reluctance, I managed to persuade them, promising it wouldn't take long. We decided to gather in the living room. Caroline, Robert mentioned he gives you $1,000 as allowance, yet you still ask me for money every month. What are you spending it all on? Also, you've been staying out late too frequently. It's becoming a concern. Why are you getting involved? You're not even my real mom. It's none of your business what I do. Just leave me alone. You may not be my biological child, but right now, I am your mother. If you continue spending money like this, you'll face consequences in the future. That's why I'm worried. If you don't explain why you need so much money, I won't give you any. This is so frustrating. I just have a lot of things I want. There are also social obligations. Can't you understand? Exactly, teenagers have their own social lives, you know. Don't be so persistent. I understand she has friends and that teenagers like brand name items, but it's about the amount she's receiving. What's your issue? Everyone receives this much, it's normal. Things have changed since your youth, old lady. In the past, you would purchase cakes and everything else I wanted without asking, but now you're behaving all high and powerful. It's rather amusing. Wait a moment, did you just call me old? I am your mom, Caroline. It's my job to inform you when something is not right. Freelancer do. I was caught up in the moment and responded with intensity. It seemed Caroline didn't appreciate that. She scowled, clicked her tongue loudly, and raised her voice. Seriously, this is so irritating. I thought we were playing happy family because you'd buy me whatever I wanted. Why are you suddenly acting all superior? Just drop it. I'm going to ignore you like you don't even exist, so stop meddling. Wait a minute, Nancy. That's enough. You've gone too far. Apologize to Caroline. What? Now I'm the bad guy? Playing happy family? What does that even mean? I thought you were an easygoing person. Guess I was wrong. Just apologize, okay? I was taken aback. I hadn't realized Robert felt that way too. The next day, Caroline completely ignored me. Robert texted me in the morning, I won't talk much until you apologize to Caroline. As days passed, I started questioning the purpose of our relationship and began considering divorce. About a year later, Caroline was in her senior year of high school, still ignoring me. Robert and Caroline continued their extravagant spending. Even when I stopped giving them money, they withdrew funds from our bill-paying account. Despite depositing nearly $2,000 every month, they withdrew it all. Faced with their ongoing behavior, I made a decision and approached Robert for a discussion. Robert, can we talk? I need to discuss something important. What's up? Are you finally going to apologize to Caroline? No, I don't see a reason for us to stay together anymore. I want you to leave this house. Excuse me, are you out of your mind? No, I'm serious. All right, give me some time to think, okay? I need to talk to Caroline too. I want you to leave within 3 days. I've taken the day off and will be at the gym. Please pack your things and be gone by the time I return. Oh, in 3 days? Got it. I wasn't sure if Robert was really listening, but I said what needed to be said. I had a feeling neither of them wanted to stay under the same roof as me. 3 days later, after spending time at a cafe and an extended workout at the gym, I returned home. Seeing their shoes still there, I assumed they hadn't left. But when I opened the shoe cabinet to put away my gym shoes, I was shocked. All my heels, pumps, and boots were gone. A bad feeling rushed over me as I hurried inside. In my room, everything was missing. Not a single piece of jewelry remained. As I rushed to the living room, I found Caroline and Robert. They were both smirking at me. After a year of silence, Caroline finally spoke to me. Oh, you're back. What's the rush? Where are my things? We thought your stuff was in the way, so we tossed it. Just as I suspected, it was Caroline's doing. All my clothes and makeup, gone. Luckily, I had taken my computer with me, so it was safe. But this is too much. I'm really furious. Robert and Caroline were both smirking together. Caroline started it, and Robert simply helped her. What's with that blank look? If there's something you really need, why don't you pick it up? And why don't you just leave? You're in the way, old lady. Oh, I see. I'm a bother, huh? Fine, I hope you both get what's coming to you. And don't come crawling back later. It won't matter to me whether you cry or get mad. I hope you regret it. Regret? Why would we cling to an old lady like you? That's right, just like Caroline said. We're doing you a favor by being married to you. We might appreciate you for being married, but we won't ever cling to you in tears. Upon hearing this, I gathered my belongings and headed to a nearby motel. Luckily, they had a room available, and I spent the night there. Watch me, thinking that I did what I needed to do. About a month later, my phone rang loudly. It was Robert calling. I knew he'd call eventually. It was so predictable, I couldn't help but chuckle. I let it ring for a while before answering. Hey, Nancy, where the hell are you? Enough is enough. Come back home. Oh, I'm just a bothersome old lady, remember? Enough already. If you're sorry, come back and live with us. Live together. You have quite a sense of humor. Why don't you just sign the divorce papers I left in the mailbox? Mailbox. Divorce papers? What are you talking about? Haven't you checked the mailbox? Why don't you take a look now? Just a moment. I could hear his footsteps over the phone, indicating he went to check the mailbox. I decided to wait. After a while, I heard him hurrying back. He must have been shocked by what he found. Nancy, there's an overdue notice for the electric bill. What's with this amount? But the lights are still on and the water's hot. I paid it, so why do we get a notice? Robert, you don't understand, do you? We have an all-electric house, so the bill has always been that high. And if there's a notice, the due date is the end of this month, right? You need to pay it. I haven't paid since I left the house, and I changed the auto payment to come from your bank account. You do know they don't cut off electricity immediately, right? Did you even realize that? What? There's no money in my account to cover it. Please handle it. I'm broke until my next payday. Why am I the one paying for everything? Is it the cell phone bill due soon too? Wait, Nancy, did you transfer the mobile account to my name as well? Yes, both yours and Caroline's charges are now deducted from your account. Seriously, what's the total amount each month? You probably know better than I do. You spend money on in-app purchases, and Caroline shops using her phone as a payment method. Altogether, it's about $2,500 a month, including mine. What? That much? I didn't think I spent that much on games. Well, when you weren't spending, Caroline was buying accessories. You easily spend at least $800 every month. Did you not realize? By the way, my share was just over $100, I think. I can't handle this. I can't afford that much. Robert, let me fill you in on something. What is it? Our monthly expenses, including the allowances I've been giving you both, add up to almost $8,000. Did you know that? House taxes, utilities, your car loan, mobile bills, the money spent on your hobbies, the allowance I gave Caroline, and everything else, it all adds up to roughly that amount. Wait, what? $8,000? Hey, that's impossible. Is it really true? I remember getting upset with you for overspending. There were times it even exceeded $10,000. Wasn't that when Caroline bought 3 designer bags? Well, I could afford it at the time. Wait, Caroline was spending that much? I can't afford all of that. And what do you mean you could afford it because it was you? What does that mean? Robert, you really didn't understand much about my job, did you? Anyway, I'll have to visit the house for some business soon, so I'll explain everything then. Wait, are you coming back? Thank goodness. Please come back soon. Ha! What are you talking about? I'll see you when I visit next. Until then, you'll have to manage the payments yourself, okay? With that, I abruptly ended the call, feeling somewhat relieved. Robert lazed around until his phone rang again. He quickly answered when he saw the caller ID. Now that a date was set, I decided to leave a message. I informed Robert I would see him in a week, then muted only his contact number. A week later, when I arrived, Robert had taken the day off and was eagerly awaiting my arrival. I expected him to be there, but I was still unsure whether to broach the topic of my job directly. After considering all angles, I decided to bring it up just before I left. I've been waiting, Robert said. Who were those guys? Multiple boyfriends? I asked, pointing to the visitors. No, they came to look at the house, Robert replied. Why? I asked. I'll explain everything before I leave. First, what did you do about the payments in the divorce papers? I had to borrow money from my parents. I'll need your help starting next month, okay? Robert replied. We're not getting a divorce, I stated firmly. No, I'm filing for divorce. I won't sign, Robert retorted. Why not? I demanded. Then why did you come back? Robert asked. To get you to sign the divorce papers, I replied. You thought I came to check out the house? No, I'm not divorcing you, so I won't sign any papers. What do you mean by checking out? Robert asked. Let's forget about that for now. If you don't sign the divorce papers, Caroline will be upset with you. If you don't want Caroline to hate you, you better sign them. Otherwise, I might consult a lawyer and ask you to repay all the money I've spent on you, okay? Fine, Robert reluctantly agreed. Oh, did the mention of a lawyer scare you? I just don't want Caroline to resent me. And if you decide to bill me for everything, I'll proceed with the divorce. But let's continue living here together. No way, Robert exclaimed. At that moment, Nancy's companions, who had been inspecting the house, returned. It turned out they were demolition contractors. With Robert's signature on the divorce papers secured, Nancy decided it was time to reveal the truth as they prepared to leave. You'll need to find a new place to live soon. Just so you know, Nancy informed him. What do you mean? Robert demanded, taken aback. Well, I actually built this house, Nancy confessed. What? I thought you said you just renovated your parents' house, Robert responded incredulously. You never brought this up before, he accused. No, I wanted to discuss it when we had built more trust, but I guess you've shown your true colors early, Nancy retorted. So, Nancy, you must be making a lot of money then, huh? Robert asked, a hint of disbelief in his voice. You never mentioned anything about a mortgage, he added. I've already paid off the mortgage. We can discuss everything else later, Nancy replied calmly. I need to go file these divorce papers now, Robert insisted. If you're making that much, maybe we should reconsider the divorce, he said, trying to snatch the papers away. However, the sturdy contractors easily restrained Robert. Eventually, they took him to the courthouse in their truck, where the divorce papers were accepted without issue. The following day, possibly with the day off, Robert called multiple times. Assuming he was interested in Nancy's work, she answered the phone. To her surprise, it was Caroline who spoke, although Robert seemed to be present as well, as Caroline's voice echoed over the speakerphone. Hey, what do you think you're doing? You told my dad to leave, right? Explain yourself, Caroline demanded sharply. Good morning, Caroline. Yes, your father needs to find a new place because I'm the one who purchased this house, Nancy replied calmly. What? My dad said you just renovated your family home so he could easily take it over, Caroline retorted, clearly surprised. Well, that's what he told you, I see. Thank you for letting me know, Caroline, Nancy replied evenly. Don't interfere. Tell me, Nancy, how are you making such large payments? Caroline pressed. Oh, I meant to tell you, I'm actually an investor. I've been trading stocks for a few years now, Nancy explained. I know some people who tried that and failed. There's no way someone like you could succeed, Caroline scoffed. Well, I did manage to succeed. My father is also an investor, quite successful himself. He lives abroad now, Nancy revealed. That explains why we had our wedding meeting over video call, Caroline noted. Yes, exactly. Due to the current pandemic, he's unable to return to the States, Nancy confirmed. So, Nancy, were you living off your parents' money? Caroline questioned. Initially, I borrowed some money, but I promptly paid it back, Nancy clarified. Care to share your total assets? Caroline challenged. No need to beat around the bush. I bet it's something like $100,000, Caroline guessed. Nope, you're off by a few zeros, Nancy responded calmly. Don't tell me it's $1 million, Caroline exclaimed. Close, it's actually $9 million, Nancy revealed. What? You struck it big. Too much for you to handle, I suppose, Caroline said, trying to process the information. Wait, you're lying? Caroline accused, disbelief evident in her voice. Lies? There's no way you're making that kind of money, Caroline insisted incredulously. If you think I'm lying, that's fine. We won't be seeing each other again, Nancy responded firmly. Wait, Nancy, let's get back together. Please come back, Robert pleaded. Well then, bye-bye, Nancy said decisively. With that, she hung up, blocked his number, and muted his messages. Feeling liberated, Nancy began searching for a new place to live. A few days later, an unknown number called. Reluctantly, Nancy answered, only to find it was Robert calling from his work phone, a number she didn't recognize. Nancy, please don't hang up. Listen to me, Robert pleaded urgently. What is it? Nancy asked, cautious but curious. A demolition crew is here. They're telling me to leave my house. Can you help? Robert's voice trembled with desperation. Where are you right now? We could come over, Nancy offered, showing concern. That's not happening, Robert replied tersely. Goodbye, Nancy said, preparing to end the call. Wait, Robert's voice pleaded desperately. Mom, it's me, Caroline. I'm sorry for what I said. Please, can we live together again? Caroline's voice suddenly came through the phone. Caroline, I'm not your mother anymore. Don't come crawling back now, Nancy replied sternly. It was my fault. Please let Dad marry you again. I won't be able to go to college, and my cell phone's going to get cut off soon. Please, I promise to be good, Caroline begged tearfully. It's tough, but remember, Caroline, you refused when I tried to be your mother. Life isn't always easy. Maybe consider getting a job or taking out a student loan instead of throwing a tantrum, Nancy advised firmly. A student loan? No way. College life is everything to me. I just can't, Caroline protested. Throwing a tantrum won't help. You and Robert need to figure this out. Take care and goodbye, Nancy said firmly, then blocked the number and headed to the phone store to change her number. 3 months later, Nancy heard from a gym buddy who was close to Robert that he had drastically changed. He was working tirelessly to repay the money he had borrowed from his parents and had no time or money left for hobbies. While out with friends downtown, Nancy thought she saw Caroline, but she no longer felt any obligation toward them. She had confided everything to her parents, who had invited her to live with them. Nancy was planning to leave the States soon, looking forward to new beginnings and leaving behind the turmoil of the past.